Welcome to the Tekkadan Syndicate podcast. I'm Jason, also known as GunplaDeimos on TikTok and Instagram. You have Keith Brightwood on TikTok and Instagram, and Marcos Maverik Wolfe on TikTok and Instagram also. We have some members here who aren't with us tonight, but we want to give them a shout out anyways. Here's JJ, Newtype Nation on Instagram, Alex, Drako Martini at 19 on Instagram, and Alex Martini 19 on TikTok. We have Alvaro DFC and the Shogun Hebi. We'll get them on in future episodes. And then we have our special guest tonight, William from Gunpla Caddy Systems. And this is episode 02, Gunpla Caddy Attacks.
This is one of my ideas, is that I've been contemplating taking my 3D printer business to the next level, which basically means that I have to triple my printer complement, more directed advertisement, and getting my product into hobby shops. So this to me is not necessarily a good choice because it puts all my eggs into one basket. It does not allow me to be diversified in the need to meet a target demographic. I'm just basically a warehouse and manufacturing. So my thought was, if I can get a space that is adequate in size, that I could potentially do a storefront and do P-Bandai, all of the kits, and Gunpla Crack related, from anything from tools and my caddy systems and all of those things, but in a storefront. Then also, by tying it as a storefront and a warehouse for manufacturing for the 3D printers, it allows me to manufacture up my scale, have it off-site. I keep doing the engineering, hire somebody to do the running of the 3D printers and the mailing, and have somebody run the front desk. Oh, wow. So for me, and I want the people, and what I want to try to do is create, for the people who want to work there, I want them to be builders, and I want to give them time to build. Right. So that they have access to come in, and actually, I want to have a building that's large enough where they can actually have their, like you go and you see a tattoo artist, right? You know how they have tattoo parlors are set up? That's what I want for Gunpla. That would be cool. That would be cool. Because one, it creates more of a group environment. Yeah, like a social dynamic. And it doesn't even, and like, let me put it this way, that if I can get it to work out, I'd like to be able to offer rental spaces where people have spaces. Don't touch their crap. Don't walk into their booth. This is their space. If you want, and have like, and reach it out. So if somebody wants to do custom kits, you can come to that artist and go, hey, I want this one built, and can you paint it and do all those things? Right. And allow that person that space and their knowledge and their expertise so that they can help the customer. And then also we can do online sales. We can do, because we're going to be shipping out Gunpla Caddy systems, and everything related to that. And so I want to be able to get people that want to build models, that say they want to be able to, and I'm going to build a YouTube channel completely around the business. That's my job, is to run those, because that's the advertisement base. That's how we're going to get out. Do do podcasts where we actually show guys working, and we build videos off of guys actually working out of the studio. Yeah, that'd be cool. By creating the double space, one, we're killing two birds with one stone, and we're creating a space where makers and builders can come, and we can make a photo setup area where you want to photograph we have that equipment available. I wanted to make it so that guys, we may not have the best prices on our Gunpla, but for whatever else we offer, makes you want to come to our shop and get it at hand. Right. Yeah. So that's kind of that's where my thoughts are going on that. That's cool. I like that idea. It's different. Yeah. No, it's niche in the correct way, right? Well, yeah, because it's that targeting demographic that you were talking about. Well, so. and who do I really want to go for are the people, not necessarily the hardcore, but the beginners. And if you look at Andy's hobby headquarters and how Andy has built his business, how I found Andy, even though he's a 20-minute drive from my house, I found Andy by finding him on YouTube. Right. And then when I found out he was in Phoenix, I was like, holy crap. And that's who I go and that's who I buy from.
Right.
So for me, to have a place, and we're not going to sell fine scale.
Right.
Kotobuki, vintage kits, Gunpla, P Bandai. That's all I want. I don't want battleships. I don't want this.
Right.
And if we do get anything, I want it to be not necessarily World War II-ish, but I want it to be like kit bashing sessions.
Right.
And then I'm also going to think about offering, because we're going to have to repair our 3D printer fleet. I want to hire somebody who can come in and also have a space for repairing 3D printers. Or you want to upgrade your printer, or your Raspberry Pi isn't working, and give a space to these techs that like to build these things and create more of a pay for kind of like I'm not going to, these people are going to serve purposes, and their purpose for the company is that, well, if we don't have any, our machines are down, but we can repair machines, then offer that as how to upgrade and offer and, do these things.
Right.
And I think that we had was it Tech Labs or it was basically where they had 3D printers, resin, mills. It was I think it was called Tech Lab. It was a federally funded one, and that closed because they weren't making money.
Right.
So yeah, I'm like, okay, well,
I saw online. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
I saw online there's a course for 3D printer technicians that you can take. Like, nowadays, there's a lot of things coming out, and I'm sorry to say, but most people don't do it because, I'm scared. Nah, you don't do it because you're lazy, because you don't want to, like, you don't want to continue, like, because there's so much things for us to do, like, let's say, to better yourself, that no, I can't do it. I can't. No. You don't put that word in your mouth. Right. I cannot. It's not acceptable.
We can. We're not. I can't. What is it?
It's like what I told Alex the other day. I was like, it's called a trash can, not a trash can't. So even if you're trash at it, you can still do it.
Well, you know what? Some person's trash is somebody else's gold, and
exactly.
Yep.
We're getting meta with this metaphor.
And a lot of times we set the goal so high.
It's okay.
And you don't need to.
Right.
I just look at because I do all my manufacturing in home. I have an office, all my printers, and I would love to not have that going in my house all the time.
Right, I'm sure.
And it's really hard for me to justify it because of the overall expense. But if I can do a dual functioning, and I'm speaking that I'm not going to have all this set up initially. It's going to be built in phases. But my first phase is actually to open it up as a retail store.
Right.
Because there ain't no competition in Phoenix for it.
Seriously, I mean, you've got collectors. What's that place called? Collectors Space or something. But they like price gouge like none other. And then you've got
the one that's
like,
over off a Indian school in 51st.
Yeah.
They're
the one where it's like claustrophobic. Yeah,
everything is just like on top of you, and then there's the real creepy dudes way in the back.
Yeah, and that's where you have to go for the Gundams. Yeah. You've got some small comic shops like Samurai Comics has them, and then you've got like you've got Hobby Action, and like that's about it.
And Andy, he's got some, but they're good. He's like, that's not his focus. He does Gunpla because
it pulls people in.
Right. It's just one more angle. Right. But I want to get ammo. I want to get Tamiya. I want to get all those paints. I want the SMS paints out of Australia. Right. I want to become one of their distributors.
That'd be a good one.
And then this way, I can offer the syndicate wherever I can offer you guys a discount so that we can use that as promotional, then that's where I want to do that as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's the way I look at it, is like, look, you have to give back to your community. Doing a podcast or anything like this to me is a way. This is the hard marketing. Instead of giving this to someone else to do and to promote you, and if you have a business idea, my business idea is I don't need nor do I want to be rich. I want to enrich my life. I want to enrich the experience of other people. So that to me is value. And I never see these spaces. You go into any hobby shop and it's all RC, because that's where they know they're going to make their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you look at Gunpla kits that are $200 for a kit, $275. Oh, what is it? There's one in the Fashion Square Mall. There's a Tokyo style, and they have Gunpla in there too.
Oh yeah, but those are also price gouged.
Oh my god. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those I know what store you're talking about. Those are insanely price gouged.
Oh yeah, I mean, because I just checked some of them and I'm like, are you kidding me? I go, this is like $20 more over list price.
Seriously.
And it's not a hard to find kit.
Yeah, you're talking about the one that's across from like the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory and the Disney store. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on the third floor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did find the awesomest Totoro bathroom fan I bought for my wife's birthday. So that was pretty cool. But and there was another thing, is that all they have is Gundam Wing. Yeah, there's posters up there. All it is Gundam Wing. Like, there's no other Gundam other than Gundam Wing. The one Gundam I haven't been able to watch yet and I want to watch is Thunderbolt.
Oh yeah.
I watched Bandit Flower the other day. I haven't seen the first one, but I kind of got, what happened in it just from reading on Wikipedia and stuff. But I mean, it's so beautifully animated. And if you're a music person too, there's so much music influence in it that it just seeps from the pores.
Yeah, well, and the thing that I saw about Thunderbolt was that they even do space tactics where they were imposing themselves on a piece of debris and hiding behind it and shooting, and that was animated into the story much more. It was part of the tactics in the storyline. And I'm like, where can I see this? And I can't find it anywhere. I think it might be on Amazon, but I don't have Amazon.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Probably a DVD that you're gonna have to buy from Sunrise.
Yeah.
Oh, Blu-ray. Which I need to get on that.
I need to. Well, and that's another thing. If I can get the business up and running, not if, when I get my business up and running, I'm going to make sure we have big screen TVs in there, and all we're playing is Gundam all the time.
Well, I mean, you got plenty of material there.
Yeah. And then also provide, Japanese treat snacks and stuff, and
like some ramune and stuff like that in there.
And so I'm going to start doing some research and looking at what I need for the because I'm just going to go towards it as I'm going to open a gaming a Gunpla shop. How much is it going to cost to get things started so I can get my license and get everything so I can get it at cost? And then I'm going to then integrate the 3D printing into the facility as well.
That would be cool.
And this will be the best part. You can come in and go, can I get a custom Gunpla Caddy and this? And we'll be able to do it for you. We can modify it. I can design it. I can take care of that. And that's part of my job.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, and the only way, I mean, if you look at any type of business, and the successes of business is where they diversify what they're doing. I mean, if you look at hobby shops, they try to carry every single hobby they can, right? So why would you think that I'm going to go in and all I'm going to do is sell Tokyo, style stuff? And that store, I went in there 2 or 3 months between each time, and they had nothing new. It was all the same stuff.
It's always the same.
Probably all the same stuff that Hobby Lobby's getting too.
Yeah. No, it's not there is different stuff there, but it is true that it's all like it's all wing, it's all like endless waltz. It's that like that's all it is at that store.
Yeah.
But it's like insanely price gouged.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't think they make any money on the Gundam, so that's why they gouge it up as much as they do.
Right.
So really quick, I am building the master grade master Gundam. I love these G Fighter kits. They're old, but they're master grades that have.
Oh, with the screws? Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
Well, especially when they know that they have a part that's a critically weak part, like a shoulder joint, and I'm like, a little bit of reinforcement, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, okay, if I drill that out, I get a copper pin, mill that copper pin to match, glue it in there, and then actually use it as a copper pin instead of the plastic pin, which only has a certain flex to it and rigidity.
Right.
So I'm like, that's what I do with my kits. If I think this is gonna break,
I'm nowhere near that savvy. I pretty much do straight builds with a little bit of detailing, customization. There's stuff
it's really
learning.
It's just really strange. I don't see any Gunpla Caddy on your desk. It's
I'm currently on my. I actually am. I went to your Etsy shop to plan ahead because I try to be responsible. I got.
Don't go to my Etsy.
So I got my bills and stuff.
Yeah, don't go to my Etsy store. If you want to order anything, you contact me directly. You don't have to worry about Etsy price. Okay, there's Etsy price, and then there's people I know price.
Right.
So here's some caddy stuff.
Oh, that's a piece of crap. Who the hell made that?
I know, right?
Who
made
crap.
That stuff? Yeah,
that's total trash. Yeah, you're gonna have. I'm gonna get you one of my my new sprue holder that's way better than that one.
No, I got because I just got done building my perfect grade GPO1, and one of the things I noticed is when I was like in the near the end of it was that I kept on getting my runners caught up against each other because all I do is like put them in the box, put them in order, and sort through them. But it's fine for when you first start, but once you start flipping everything out and get near like halfway to the end, they start like humping up against each other, and they
start to dwindle. Right.
Yeah.
And you want them to stay separate, and you want to be able to stagger them so you know what you're dealing with.
This is my solution for that.
Yep.
I have this set up for all of the runners, right? And then with each section on those perfect grades, it always shows you what ones you're going to use. And so then I use those with this type of stuff, right? And then I'll switch them out with each new step area.
Yeah. This is mine. That's where I put all my runners.
Traitor.
Hey, I bought it in, over at Goodwill when I started doing the kits. Is what I got. It was like 50 cents when I got it.
Oh yeah, no, those are, and that right there is exactly that. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, you don't have that? Oh, well, I'm like, who cares? Yeah. It works for you. And if you got it for 50 cents, then hell yeah, that's smart. There's no reason you should buy anything. It's like that Display and God Hands and stuff like that. I have no loyalty to either of them. It's just whenever the price is right, I'm going to go for either the Display or I'm going to go with the God Hands. It just depends on when the price is right. When my wallet says you can do it.
Yeah. Right now, these are my nippers right now. These are the nippers that I have. You guys can see them. These are from Micro Mark.
Micro Mark, yeah.
I got them from I didn't get them. Yagamus Prime over at TikTok.
Right.
He sent these to me.
Really?
Like, he goes, I got you a gift and send these nippers to me. And I'm like, okay.
I'll have to look those up.
So they're awesome. They're really good. I really liked it, like the way they work and stuff. I'm like, And he was like, so how was the nippers? I'm like, dude, make my life easier.
Probably the best nippers. See, I just have my standard nippers yet because I still haven't broken down and bought me a pair of God hands.
Yeah.
I feel like really bad right now.
Why?
Keith has like 3 pairs
right out there.
Yeah, Keith has like 3 pair of God hands.
Well, he's got his priorities crooked. You have to respect that.
No, I don't have 3, but I do have a backup pair for once that pair is dead.
Yeah. Okay.
So
rub it in.
Yeah.
Here, let me go. Let me give me a nip and some salt so I can.
Yeah. No, I will. No. It was one of those that the old hobby store that I had up in Colorado. They would give you like so much in rewards, and after building up that stuff, that's what I used to get them. So
okay, that's perfect. Sounds good. We'll let it slide this time. We'll let it happen again.
What's more important than just having God hands is having the single bladed nippers.
That's what I want.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want. I just keep going. God hands display. God hands display. So
I got these Vulcans for $30 on Amazon, and they are good.
Okay.
Well,
this is an old,
So these are the like you guys see that one. This is the one you sent me, which are really good. I tried them out. They're good.
Oh, the giveaway ones?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
These ones are from a friend of mine that from his vape kit. He was like, I'm not using it here to cut the coils from the vapes and all that stuff. These are the starter ones that I bought, and these are the ones that I got from the 40th anniversary giveaway.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, I got a few nippers there. Let's.
You can never not have it. You can never not have enough.
No, yeah. I mean, these are my like cut away from the
sprue
rail ones. Yeah, the sprue. And then this. I mean, I'm using this just on this kit because these SD kits always have them like super close anyway.
Yeah,
but.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time. I just got a new order of nippers in and glass files today to fill up the pre-made micro caddies that I have.
That's cool.
You guys know the micro caddies are, right?
No, you should show us.
Oh, somebody who received one. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Here it is, right here. This is the micro caddy. The micro caddy actually comes with. This is the micro caddy. The micro caddy comes with the nipper, the hobby knife, and the 2 glass filers. So this is the pre-made kit that he sent. I won it from MS Team 7. And so I won that one.
That's a good kit.
So this is the nice kit.
No, I'm not promoting anything.
Well, that's why I was like, no, we don't. You should show us.
Yeah. Look, no, it's like you make quality. I see it all the time, all over TikTok and Instagram. Everyone's getting them, and it's like, once again, it's just next paycheck. I am getting the runner.
Oh, just let me know. Just let me know, and I'll get you set up. The thing I think is hilarious is that why is there no one else doing what I'm doing? Honestly, I'm self-taught.
There is one other person I know of that's doing some of what you're doing. So, not the caddy stuff, just the runner holders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah. And there's someone that distributes to Hobby Action some 3D printed ones, but they're like the small wall ones.
Yeah.
So they don't work as well.
No,
I think I've got one.
You
Of course.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm still right here
with all of his god hand sponges and his...
Yeah, so like this doesn't hold like anything.
Well, and that's what I found is that's why my sprue holders are as tall as they are, is because some of those sprues get real wonky, and you need to be able to at least lock them in somewhat to let them, be stable. And that was why I went with that size. Trust me, I hate printing those. They eat so much filament and they take 22 hours to print. So I don't love that, that it eats up so much filament. That's kind of my...
So now that we're talking about the 3D printers, which one do you recommend? Filament or resin?
They each serve their own purpose. They each have their fundamental values. The resins are usually pretty small format, where FDM or deposited, like the hot glue type, that's FDM. The FDMs have larger build volumes. So it just really depends. If you're going to do Gundam and you're going to make custom Gundam like CAD, like types, then you'd want a resin because you would have a better finish and you can do much greater detail. So higher detail in resin, FDM for me is perfect for building the caddies. That's what they're perfect for, because it's like, you want a different color? No problem. Resin, you can't do color other than monocolors: red, green, blue, gray, white, black, semi-translucent, crystal clears that are never crystal clear.
Right.
So, but you see, Keith, my nippers work as good as your god hands. So.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. Yeah. I'm just a spoiled brat.
Yeah. It's like,
we kind of knew that. I didn't want to say it out loud, but
yeah,
since you said it, just spoiled little brat.
Yeah.
So in your shop, because as you said, resin 3D printers can do some cool stuff and for very certain purposes. I think I was watching Mecha Guy Go-To a few months ago, and he had a promotion where, some 3D printer companies sponsored him.
right.
And he made in IBO those big cannons that are illegal that they use at the end of the show.
Okay.
He made one for one of his grazes, and it came out pretty good, but you definitely have to paint it to make it look better and everything. But
I mean, again, it's like I have a resin printer. It's pissing me off right now, but it's a large format printer. So I can print stuff that's almost 12 inches tall by 8 inches wide by 10 inches long. So I've printed a giant Darth Vader bust and several other things. Again, it's just about when choose the correct path. Right. But these parts, a lot of what I've seen, and now I understand, when you see resin add-on armor or kits to Gunpla, the Gundam, I understand how they do it now, because I actually got to watch a guy build custom armor pieces for and how he did it, and then they just cast them in resin. You don't do it in computer. It's not done in CAD.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know how Bandai actually, how much of their stuff is computer aided, or is it guys sitting there modeling it, then casting it, and then scanning it, and then making the actual injection molds from it. So there's a lot of things that I kind of like, I'm not aware, I don't know. So when it comes to anytime the whole reason why I bought my Anycubic Photon X is because I wanted to be able to do extra special scenery and details and stuff like that for and maybe a bust or two, but I wasn't really worried. It's just like the fine little stuff that I wanted to be able to create.
Right.
Greeblies and stuff like that. So I just love dioramas. I love finding a kit and going, I want to build on this. I want to expand on this. I want to create a little story. And, you know, I want somebody to like fall in love with that story and looking at the detail and the care that went into it. And that to me would be, that's really my end goal, my love, my passion. Trying to make millions and millions of dollars. I was like, Dr. Evil.
Yeah, 3D print some freaking lasers for my freaking sharks.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Will we put a laser on his head? No. Oh.
So speaking of that, and of which, so what would you recommend, like, for one that is starting or wants to start, and that to start with? Or you want, like, should they, let's say, download the file or create their own file?
Well, that's the amount of time it takes to digitally create a CAD file versus how many times you're going to sell it or modify it. I believe what we're really going to see with Gunpla in the future is that we're going to see more applications towards resin or 3D printers, making parts that people want, custom parts, but you're going to be able to go in and instead of like, you're going to, hey, I want a new armor kit for this for Kai, something, blah, blah, blah. And they're going to offer you the digital version and you can buy the files or you can buy the physical. I think that's a reality. I think also in the same plane that existence is that you're going to see it in the model industry, where you're going to get a kit and you're going to have a digital version. They're going to give you a fully rendered, model, and then all the parts, and then you pick whatever format you want for printing on resin or printing an FDM. And I think that's really where the industry has to go, especially when there's so much potential for home automation. But right now, 3D printers are not, they're not like microwaves. You just can't, go up to them, poking a couple buttons and walk away. It takes, you have to learn how to basically calibrate them, manage them, understand the software. I mean, it's taken me 5 years to get to the point where I'm at, and I'm far from an expert. And the experts that I learn from are the experts from YouTube. I've watched so many thousands of hours of watching what people do and don't do. And that's what influences what I do. And if you ever see a TikTok where I'm talking about 3D printing, it's ridiculous how many views it gets. I can put up one of the best built, Gundams, and they're like, hey, that's really nice. You did a good job. Pat on the back. 3D printer stuff is like, 9,000 views. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they want more 3D printer stuff and they must think that I know what I'm talking about. Hopefully.
You do.
So it's hard to tell somebody about something that's so phenomenally fun and challenging in a learning process. Oh, look at the cute dog. Hello, little dog.
Yeah. Myself, I might be going into the merch business. Might open, like, for myself and then integrate the syndicate in it. But my wife was talking, we should invest in making, like, how everybody now, like nowadays, you gotta have a face mask to go outside, to go anywhere.
Right.
So she was like, how about we invest, we make, we start making face masks, we start making shirts. And I'm like, okay. So she goes, since you're in Gunpla, you can do Gunpla stuff. Right. And we can also make, like, for people, like, let's say custom shirts, like home, like you from Mexico or Europe. Oh, I want, hey, can you make me a shirt? Can you make me this? And I'm like, hey, just send me that, send me what you want and I'll
Right. Have you ever seen the YouTube channel Demolition Ranch?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what he did. He went from being a full-time veterinary surgeon and veterinarian to having all of the people on YouTube use his company to create their merch. And Bunker Branding is their merch company. And that company makes some serious money. And that's a really interesting channel, interesting guy out of Texas.
Yeah, I saw it. Like, that's why, like, I was like, okay, you know, I started seeing like a lot of people doing it, and then I'm like, should I or should I not? Should I not? Should I? Let me ask.
I think at this stage, as many people who do it at home manufacturing, it's kind of like candle makers. If you want to open a business that you want to be successful for 10 years, open a candle shop. And for every candle shop that opens, there's one closing, and you fill that void, and everybody can always soap and candles. Something that everybody's going to need. So if you were to go towards the manufacturing or independent manufacturing of fabric masks and posters and all that stuff, it's not a bad avenue. It's going to be a lot of investment because of the machines, and then you have to commit to those machines. So that really, to me, is the biggest fear. You know, for me, 3D printers are cheap. They cost $250.
Yep.
If I go to Creality and I say, hey, Creality, I need 10 Ender 3s. I want to buy all 10 of them. No, I want to buy 20 all at one shot. I'm going to be able to get a severe discount on that because they know they're going to move that product. Boom, done. And if it's compared to $250 per unit, even if I was to go out and buy 10 of them, it's only $2,500. And now I've got 10 machines that can be paid off in 1 month of production. So, you know, the cost there. And if a machine goes down, it either is fixed or it's parts. It's not like a sewing machine, which is so many moving parts, so many proprietary things, or you know, a print machine or you know, for doing textiles. So I still think the textile route, anything that is brilliant. Anybody should invest in that.
Not to mention, I think it's absolutely interesting that people go and print their own improvements for their machines.
Yeah.
Right?
That
like,
cool.
There's 3 major upgrades that I do to every single machine that I print on that machine and then do it. And that is, hands down, is one of the best things about, I mean, there's not everything, but I mean, my wife looks at me, and we were at the store today, and she loves bees. So we decorate things with bees. I'm like, man, I don't have a problem with bees. And she looked at this wood honeycomb like wall art that you could put stuff in. And I go, and she goes, well, how much is it? And I said, well, let me look. And it's $79, right? And I turned to her and I said, you know, I could do that in 3D printed material. And she's like, make it happen. All right, we're going to go that route. I'm like, awesome. So now I get to design something that I'm going to make a whole bunch of hexagons and then glue them together. And, you know, it's going to be a blast. So I'm like, hell yeah, let's.
That's like those TikToks I see where they're like, I'm proving to my wife that I can make money with this machine.
Well, yeah. I mean, it took me 6 months to develop my entire, how to model, not make caddies, but how to model caddies. And then the last 6 months, I've actually been profitable. And what was it? Yesterday, when I went to the post office, I had 4 orders left on my Etsy account that needed to be printed, and they were printing. By the time I got home tonight, I have 9 orders pending.
Jesus.
So, and
That's
I'm
awesome.
Yeah, right. And I look at, I get slammed at the first of the month. That's when all the orders come in. First of the month. So I'm like, that's when everybody gets paid, and their bills, you know, their bank account looks a little fuller, you know. So I'm like, okay. And then this weekend, my wife and I are going up to Lake Havasu. We rented a house and we're taking our dogs and we're going to go up and see the London Bridge and hang out in Lake Havasu for the weekend. And so for the first time in a year and a half, I get a vacation. And I can't run printers when I'm not here. So
Right.
I don't wake up at 4:00 in the morning because of a weird bump in the night and walk in, and first thing, I don't look for someone breaking into my house. I'm like, is there a 3D printer down?
Yeah. It's good. It's an awesome job that what you do. And since the moment I saw you on TikTok, dude, I was like, this is a man that, I'm going to follow. It's basically, he's doing something that who knows, maybe I want to do. Maybe I don't want to do. It depends. But since I'm kind of like a risk taker, I'm like, I can jump right into it and be like, yeah, I'm in. Oh, no.
I would highly recommend an Ender 3 version 2. I'll print you some upgrades, order it. And if you're having problems, I can walk you through and certain suggestions. Actually, I can send you a entire upgrade kit for the springs and the direct drive mount and the Bowden tubes. And I can set you up. So if you ever decide to go to an Ender 3 version 2, let me know. I'll print you the upgrades. So you don't have to screw around with the old stuff. You can just start right out with it.
The new. Okay.
Yeah, well, with the subtle improvements that do really make things, I find that they make my life easier.
Right.
And that's I don't care about other people's lives. It's only my own life.
Yeah. Like today I saw like this guy on TikTok. He did what was it? Where the filament comes.
Right.
He's like, what am I going to do with all these, when you finish, and all that stuff. So he made a 3D printed filament that it's 2 parts, and you can put it there, and you can take out the filament from the old cartridge or buy the filament, just put it there for the measurement, and just when it ends up, you open up, you put another one, and I'm like, innovative, like it.
Well, there was a guy on TikTok I saw. He took Sharpies and he made a 3D printed mount for the Sharpies, and the Sharpies would slide in and they would run along. He would change the Sharpie out, and the Sharpie would infuse the PLA. He'd use a clear or a white PLA, and he'd put a black Sharpie in it, and it would make these black alterations to it in color. And then he'd put orange in, and he did blue. And it was just something that he 3D printed. And I was like, that's really smart. I mean, it's just like, I never thought of that. I've never seen anyone else do anything like that. So I was like, wow, that's cool. That's something worthwhile. Of course, I haven't done anything with it because I'm too busy just trying to pretend like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It looks good.
Well, I mean, like what most things, just fake it until you make it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a YouTuber for movies and stuff, Movies with Mikey, and he has.
Oh my God! You watch Movies with Mikey? Oh, we can be friends.
No one knows what they're doing. That's probably my favorite jingle that he has, other than the "Did you know?"
And then, did you know?
Yeah.
No, his breakdown of like Blade Runner 2049, Blade Runner, any of the Miyazaki films. Oh my, Mikey, and Mikey brings up this whole point. The whole reason that he created Movies with Mikey was because he was tired of people bashing on movies and talking all about all the crap points of a movie. And he focused on all the things that he loved about a movie. And he does such an elegant way of breaking it down. And I'm just like, I move away from Mikey for a while, and then I'm just like in 100%, and that's all I listen to.
Well, the thing is that right now, since COVID hit, basically, he's been spotty with content.
Right.
Releasing a video about once every month. I don't think he would let things. He had some stuff happen to him. He
had a health issue. His house was frozen because he lives in Texas.
Yeah.
His house froze. All the pipes burst. His house, and now they're living in an apartment. And I don't even know if he's still around because they couldn't live in their house, and the insurance company was not repairing the house.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a video released a couple weeks ago, wasn't there?
You know how YouTube is?
Right.
I put alarms and like, hey, I want to know when Mikey's going to post something.
Ring the bell.
Fuck yeah, ring the bell.
Yeah, dude, you know how many bell rings I get from what you call it, like Blimpy, all these kids things.
Right. Well, you got little people.
No, because honestly, that's part of why I got into Gunpla was because I've always been like, so my first start with YouTube was watching professional StarCraft 2 matches.
Okay.
So not the Korean, the American ones, not most of the Korean ones, but these guys were like sports commentators, and I was really like, when I was in high school, we had a computer club, but what we really did was we went and we spawned copies of StarCraft 1 onto like 10 different computers, and then we'd have 2 games going. And then when you got knocked out of a game, you go and play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
No, it was freaking cool, and I wish I could do something like that in my school, but the permissions are way too high and stuff, so not able to do that anymore. But so then I got back into StarCraft 2, and then I started watching like Philip DeFranco and then a couple other ones, and then just went down this whole rabbit hole to the point where I think like 2 years later, I was like, how do I have 300 subscriptions?
Right. Oh God, I have more than that. I know I have more than that. But yeah, Philip DeFranco's good.
Internet
I like
Today,
Franco.
that's another good one.
Which one?
Internet Today.
Internet Today.
They used to be ETC on Machinima, and then they parted with them, and they kept the original name, but then they closed down that channel. And Ricky and Elliot are doing their own thing in one of their houses. So I'm sad Inside Gaming went away.
Right.
Because I even like the new cast, but then they constantly kept on leaving too. And it's like, oh, this thing's going under. Now it's just Brian on the weekends.
Right. Well, and then what was it? What was one of my others that I was like, there's certain Life Uncontained. It's a husband-wife team that are building a container home, and I gobble them up. There's a couple people in Oregon that I just have to watch. There's some guy that lives in the wood, and he's like, Jesus is my friend, and I'm like, all right, let's build a cabin.
Okay.
And then my other passion is First Amendment auditors. The guys that go to the police departments and they photograph the police departments and they walk around, and then the cops come out and go, you need to show us ID. And they go, no, I don't. He goes, yeah, you have to show ID. This isn't a right, as an ID state. And they go, well, when I make contact with you, you have to show me your papers. And I'm like, oh, we're in Nazi Germany now, huh? We're not in the United States. And then what is it? The Haulover in Florida. And there's a video that the whole channel is just about the Haulover, which is this awkward, or this duck get into this harbor, and all these boats just get trashed that don't know how to do it. And I'm like, that's a good show too. And then there's Rich Rebuilds, the guy that rebuilds Teslas, and they're taking a Tesla body, full Tesla car, they're ripping the Tesla out of it, and they're putting in a 475 horsepower Hemi inside this electric car.
Whoa.
To just piss off all the electric car people. And I'm like, yes.
I saw a thing recently where these chicks put a muffler on a Tesla. It's like and they didn't even change the engine type. It was just like a speaker inside a muffler.
Oh yeah. There's sound packages for Teslas now, and it looks like a muffler, and it's like a computer system and these sound baffles, and they make it sound like it's a V8, and it's like, and I love that, There's a guy who was tired of his Tesla getting marred up and stuff. It's a Wham Bam Tesla Cam. It's a great channel. It's a great crash channel, and it's like they call it the Honda Bump and all this stuff. No, I don't watch YouTube. Okay, I don't.
No, not at all.
And the guy took all the Tesla emblems off of his car and he put Honda symbols on his car. And people just ignore his car. They don't take pictures of it. They don't care because they think it's a freaking Honda and not a Tesla. And I'm like,
right. That's genius.
I was blown away. I was like, that's like next level, you know? Me, I just 3D print my own logo. It'd just be Gunpla-mobile.
Yeah. That's some like duck season, rabbit season stuff.
Some of us are a little too young to get that reference, but yes.
I got it. I grew up with Looney Tunes. You guys crazy?
I think Jason is actually a couple of years older than me.
Yeah,
then you had a good childhood. That's hands down.
I did because
my favorite. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I had when I was growing up, I lived out in the middle of nowhere, so we only got three channels. We didn't have access to cable or anything. So Saturday morning,
I had 2 channels.
Sometimes if the wind was blowing just right, we get Fox. We get Fox Kids. That was channel 50 at the time, and
yeah.
Like we're X-Men and all that were, and then channel 20, which was WB. Once again, wind blowing right, and sometimes it would take, because I'm the younger brother, taking the bunny ears and making sure that they're pointed just right. Nope, hold it right there, letting it go, and it fizzling out. And my brother going, "Okay, you got to stay there."
That's funny. Yeah, I remember those times when you had to try to adjust the stuff just right, because otherwise it'd be just horrible snow.
Yeah, it would just be nothing but static sound, which
if you want to get really nerdy, and I love that sound only because it's the sound of the universe being birthed.
This is true. I know about that. So SETI, when they were doing stuff to listen for stuff out in the universe, they ended up running across this ridiculously loud noise, and it's apparently the same stuff that TV static is, and they think it's from the expansion from the Big Bang.
Yeah, so the static that you hear is the microwave background radiation.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is it's not right at the Big Bang, but it's like at the like when visible light first started. Well, not visible light, but when light first started expanding outside of the universe. Like this is so complex. It's hard to remember everything. I mean, seriously, when I in the past several weeks when I've been going to bed, I've been watching Cosmos, the Space-Time Odyssey.
Right.
That's cool.
So like I get lulled to sleep by Neil deGrasse Tyson's silky smooth voice.
I put my earbuds in and I go to sleep listening to Audible books. So yeah, I don't know. It just blows my mind that we have access to so much media now. That I remember there was songs that I would listen to on the radio and I could never find the song. Now we can hold our phones up and say, listen to this and tell me what it is.
Yeah, you'd have to call the radio station to request the song and then make sure someone was ready with the tape recorder to put it up by the speakers so you could record the song yourself.
No, I've done that.
I love the fact that I sent my wife when I was trying to woo her, and I sent her a CD of a CD mix to her.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Was it a disc or was it a tape, Kit? Oh, maybe it was a cassette. Man, I am freaking old.
Hey man, don't feel bad because that's all we had when I was growing up.
Yeah.
My parents were kind of cheap when it came to getting, like, we had one CD player in the house, but we still get cassettes because that's what we had in the car.
Well, yeah, that's why my wife was like, I think it was a cassette because I think her car at the time didn't have a CD player. Like my new car right now doesn't even have a CD player. We've made full rotation, no CD player. Why? Because my phone,
Bluetooth,
my phone does everything. Right.
What's even funnier is that I have one of those phone holders for your car that goes into the CD player. That uses it as extra support. So my CD player is getting used, just not the way it was intended.
That's funny. My dad does IT stuff. My dad does IT stuff, and apparently people use like the CD trays now for like cup holders.
Yep. Yeah, there's quite a few memes out there on that one.
Yeah, that's one of those car lighters that has a dial that you program it to your radio.
Oh,
so you can use the Bluetooth from your phone.
Right.
Like,
Remember when we had the CD players that would connect with the cassette tape with the ribbon coming out of it, and you'd stick it in the tray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
VHS rewinders, separate units from the actual VCR.
Right.
That's some
auto rewinders. And then was it
man.
block? Not it was like they would charge your account a rewind fee if you didn't rewind it.
Yeah. Be quiet or be kind. Rewind. Yeah.
Be kind. Rewind. That was my mom won a lawsuit when I was a little kid. She got burned by pizza sauce or something. I don't remember, man. All I remember my parents are suing people on a lot of weed. And my mom took her settlement and she opened Cal Sierra Video. And we did, they had camcorders. So it was like, it was huge. It was like those like, like news radio, like, news TV kind of cameras. Mm-hmm. And we sold VHS, all the tapes. And at the time we were in California. So it was, what was because we were Cal Sierra, because we were in Sonora, California, up by Jamestown above San Francisco, Sacramento. Okay. And it was West Coast Video basically took over, and we couldn't make any more money. And the video market was too early to get into the video market, and just most people couldn't afford a camera because they were like $3,000 a pop to have them, and it was just crazy. But I grew up in a video store, and so we would get movies that you might hear about them come to the theater, but then they go right to VHS. Or you never even saw it in your little town where you lived. And my friends would be like, hey, can we go over to his house and hang out with him so we can watch movies? You're like, yeah, I was that cool kid. And my dad, my stepfather at the time, would bring a TV in and a VCR to school. I remember in kindergarten, him bringing a VHS in and playing VHSs at my school. Oh, that would have been it. It's just a crazy story. You think, I talk about a blessed freaking life, dude. Everything that I've had exposure to, and then I don't really think about it. And then you realize how much of a wackadoo I am. Now I understand. Just way too many jack of all trades.
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
No. Like I would have traded half of my life for that.
I also ran my own gaming store too, and up in Pendleton, Oregon. So I had a Mad Dog Gaming. So I had that business, awesome. T-shirts. We did Magic the Gathering, BattleTech, Warhammer, Chronopia, Warzone, comic books, and then cool. And this little startup company. You might have heard of it. It's not much now. It's called eBay. Sunk us in 6 months.
Oh, geez.
Because everybody was selling everything on eBay.
Damn.
I've done that too.
Yeah. Should have invested, right? I mean, I remember seeing an article on Jeff Bezos and this little company called Amazon, and that he doesn't even expect to become profitable until it was 2020 or 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Now who's Jeff?
I think Bezos? It was, yeah.
Yeah, big dick swing on Jeff Bezos. He's even got his own spaceship too.
He's got his own robot. I mean, he looks exactly like friggin' Lex Luthor.
No, and he laughs like him too.
Yeah, I hate that. I dislike that guy so much. I dislike all billionaires, even Elon Musk. I can't stand him.
Well, Elon's got some of his own stuff going on right now anyway. So
yeah, when is he not, right?
Right.
Elon Musk is like, hey, as long as we're getting our astronauts up and down safely, because Boeing can't get their head out of their ass, I'm perfectly all right having the Crew Dragon do what it does. And it shows the future of where this stuff, we need to get out of our solar system. We need to get into our solar system. And,
finding some asteroids and creating space colonies and
start manufacturing off of Earth. Get the EPA out of this, get us into space, set up mirror systems so that we can harness the sun's power to mine asteroids. Come on. I'm not saying it's going to be in 50 years, but if you look at the way the tech, if we can get AI under control where it makes our lives better and we're not slaves in skin suits, I'm all for AI, but
which is actually very unlikely to happen, regardless of, because AI isn't like artificial intelligence isn't like our kind of intelligence, no matter how well you program it.
It's not
even
us.
when it comes to quantum computers and stuff too. It doesn't work the same.
Quantum computing is what's going to make AI possible. But the other thing about quantum computing, which is going to be amazing, is that it's going to make it so that we can communicate faster than light. So it's instantaneous communication because of quantum computing, because of how it uses its compression, that it actually drops out of our universe into another back over. So there is no time lag. So if we have data streams, and it's unlimited data that you can push, and that's what makes quantum computing so amazing, is that now suddenly you can be anywhere in the universe. And think about this: if there are alien races, and if we can tap into that communication system, I think that the distances are so great in the universe versus the communication aspect. So, I'm just hoping that there's Planet Gundam out there and we can move there and run around in giant robot suits.
Well, we can make Planet Gundam.
That's the dream, they already started.
Or Planet Gunpla. I think that's my name story.
Yeah, I don't think we actually want like a Planet Gundam. That just sounds like a sad, sad world.
It's like all these starving kids and
no
grass.
Right.
Yeah.
Dropping colonies and stuff.
Hey, let's go build a beautiful
giant
cylinder
robots.
colony and then just poke some holes in it
and drop it.
Yeah.
I'll settle for Elysium any day. So sexy hot French chicks. I must be getting French Gunpla lately, because I've got a whole bunch of people commenting and like dropping hearts and stuff on my 3D printing, and they're all in France.
No, seriously, TikTok is on TikTok, like 3D printing is huge in France, because I have seen at least a dozen different TikTokers that I've subscribed to, not realizing they were French, and one popped up and it's like, I'm terrible.
Yeah,
how French sounds, but pompous.
Well, it sounds good to us. We don't even speak English. That's the funniest thing. So everyone's like, "Oh, well, why don't you speak English, damn it, and go home to your country?
You need to speak American."
Right? Yeah, that's right. You need to speak American. What does that mean? Well, first, you got to lick your partner's butthole.
Oh goodness!
Then take a shot of Jim Beam, suck that cigarette, and then slap your wife. America.
Yeah, that's not far off, unfortunately.
Or make disparaging remarks about your sexual orientation of your children. It's very important.
Set a fire for telling people that information that they really don't care about.
I always they mess up, like if there's any like screw up whenever I'm out and buying stuff or whatever, I always go, you better correct this. I don't want to go out to my car and put my wig on and come back in here and speak to your manager.
Aaron.
And it's really funny because I'm like 5'10", curvy, hairy, and most people think that I am an ogre. And I am, like my wife says, no, he's a teddy bear. He's a total sweetheart. But everybody's like, I shaved my head. My buddy got cancer. And I was like, You shaved your head yet? And he's like, yeah, I did it last night. I'm like, all right, hey, let me call you back. You got an iPhone, right? He's like, yeah. And so I call him back. My head's shaved, right? And he's like, you didn't pay? Oh my God. I'm like, and I always tell people, I go, my only reason my buddy survived from cancer is because I shaved my head. It's the cure. Shave your head, you're cured. Yeah, it's not dark at all. No giggles at all. Fuck you all. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Hard crowd. Are you looking at your instructions?
Instructions?
No.
What are those?
Be a man. Throw away the instructions. And so I always tell people, I go, yeah, and I always tell people I've saved my buddy's life by shaving my head. Well, I was like in the store walking around, and I don't think about that my head's shaved, right? I've got a full beard. I'm in a uniform for AT&T. I walk down an aisle. This woman takes one look at me, turns, and drags her child out of the aisle. Oh, wow. I'm standing in the aisle later on. She turns to come down the aisle, immediately turns around and leaves again. I enter an aisle. She grabs her kid and leaves. And I'm like, what? Do I stink? Oh, no. I look like a freaking doorman for Club Dread. And I'm like, I'm a nice person. Stop making jokes about me. No, I don't ride a Harley Davidson. Okay, I ride a Vespa. Okay, I ride a Vespa. Is that okay to you?
Do you actually ride a Vespa?
Yes, I ride a Vespa.
That's awesome. No, that's great. I love that.
Man,
Okay. I sense that somebody doesn't believe me. We're gonna take a little trip.
Down. I think our audience is down.
And I told my wife, I go, I want to make sure that we have a business. Stay out of the picture, woman. There it is.
There it is.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
But
I love that so much.
Hey, Jay,
he's right here,
Jay,
kid.
but did you see?
Right
and
here.
then he asks us, why
came
did he
from
get so
the other side of the
many
yard.
add-ons on French? Right? It's a French Vespa.
There you go.
I was talking to my wife and I go, I really want to make sure. Hey, back up. I want to make sure that when I get my shop location set up, I want it to be at a distance that I can ride my Vespa to work. So it can't be over in Scottsdale. It's got to be in Phoenix proper, and I want to make sure it's got good highway access, and that way I can ride my Vespa to the office, do whatever I need to do, have 2 different workstations there so I can log in and do what I need to do. But I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have my Vespa out front, start my own scooter club in Phoenix on top of doing Gunpla and French or Italian scooters. There we go.
Hey, life will never be boring.
I'm gonna have to get some stickers, Gundam stickers for my Vespa now. I'm gonna have to get the magnetic. I'll go to see if I can't get what is it? Vistaprints does magnets, so maybe I can get them to do it like a Gundam sticker. The best sticker I have on my Vespa is like the only reason I'm speeding is because I have to poop.
Sticker Mule does magnets too.
All right, Sticker Mule, cool. Yeah, I see all that marketing for.
I see. I use them like I was looking for a place to do like a sticker or something, and I remember Mark Nerdy
Monster.
He did some, and I'm like, man, where do you get your sticker from? He goes, Sticker Mule, look it up. So I looked it up, and I ordered it, and I'm like, wow. So right now I got like 25 stickers or 50 stickers. That it was a trial for $1, and I'm like, okay. And now what am I going to do with all these stickers?
What was it called again?
Sticker Mule.
Sticker Mule.
Yeah, Newtype Nation, JJ. That's where he got his stickers from. Hi, Penny. I got 2 of them.
Well, I really want to get a custom Gunpla Caddy sticker. That way, like your Newtype, and I want to be able to have that so that people can see my stuff on your pads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's something else that I don't see is that you see, like right now, they're doing custom mats with Tiger tanks and Sherman tanks and like battleships and jets. Why aren't we getting on that bandwagon and getting these custom mats done up with Gundam on them? technical breakdowns of the heads or a technical breakdown of one of the hands, or whatever. Because all it is custom screen printing that they're doing on those, repair mats. So I'm like, need to do our own line.
Well,
I'm gonna work on a new logo because I want to be able to start doing some merch as well.
So right now, I know that there's 3D printing of Gunpla mask, which looks awesome.
Oh yeah, he offered me one. I haven't received it yet.
I gotta I'm trying to see if I was to do one, start doing 3D print, I'll probably go for that.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Okay, so I want 100 stickers.
Yeah. So if you sign up for let's say you create your profile and all that, they'll send you notifications on your phone and all that on your email, we're doing this promotion. Get, I think it's 10 stickers for $1, or to try it out. It's like a trial, and then if they'll continue doing stuff with you. But they do everything. They do keychain. They do a bunch.
Okay, so it took me a moment to get it out.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
nice.
So they are out there. It's just not.
But that's a gaming mat. That's not a utility mat.
But it'd be easy enough for them to do that.
Yeah.
So.
These kits have really old engineering.
Do they?
So many numbers.
Which one is that?
It's the Master Gundam.
Oh, okay. I got the Legend SD around somewhere. So can't wait for you to send it my way, Master Asia.
Yep. No, I shake too much to be able to hand paint those little figures that they get. Go get it. It's right behind me.
Yeah, I saw when you posted it on when you put it on the chat. I saw who wants to so when I saw it on the chat, who wants to paint this? I'm like, here he goes.
I mean, they're cool and everything. They're unique. That's one of the reasons why I love the G Fighter Gundams. I wish I would make more. Hashtag release the Tequila Gundam.
Seriously.
Right.
Yeah. That and the Mermaid Gundam. I would totally go for the Mermaid Gundam.
The windmill one.
The Dutch one?
The windmill. There's one that is a windmill.
I want the 7-Eleven Gundam.
Ooh, yeah.
That you can only get in Japan.
Right.
At a 7-Eleven.
Alex, he might have a hookup.
Oh no, I'm going to Japan next year, so
right.
Get my trip put together.
I know that next year, Jagumar's friend, we were talking, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna go to Japan next year." I'm like, "You're going where?" He goes, "Japan." I'm like, "I got a mission for you." He goes, "What? You're gonna go to you're gonna go to the factory." He goes, "Okay, and you're gonna send me a kit, and I'm gonna pay you for the shipping and for the money." He goes like, "Okay."
It's there's quite a few things that I want to see in Japan, and whatever, if I can go see the full size unicorn at the main office, or if they're still running the full scale RX-70 whatever right now that they're doing.
They're supposed to be doing that one indefinitely. Definitely.
I heard it was only going to be running for another year, and then they were going to tear it down and change it.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to have multiple different. I think that if they do anything, do a Zaku. Honestly, I think that
cool. I would love to see a full size Zaku. I would like to see.
I would like to see, because there's so much more curvy. There's just much more mass to them.
You see, me, I will love to see a full size Wing Zero.
Yeah.
They have a full size Freedom in China.
In Shanghai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think
my Gundam choice.
Yeah, there's just so many opportunities where you could, if they made Gundam Land, I'd be going to Gundam Land.
Yeah, they just made Super Mario Land, so I'm sure they could make Gundam Land.
When they made like Harry Potterville or Harry Potter Land at Universal, they do all those things. I'm like, yeah, I mean, Christ, I'm going to be going to Lake Havasu and I'm going to be walking on the London Bridge, the actual London Bridge. So I'm like, okay, well, that's pretty cool if you think about it. But yeah, I think there's just too many opportunities to get some pleasure out of this.
That's what, like, before I started with the guys here for the syndicate, I had started like the Gunpla Academy thing going on. So I'm like, okay, let's make it happen. Let's see how it goes, here and there. And then suddenly I started realizing that when I made the group, like the Facebook group for the Gunpla Academy, the group is solid and it's good. When I started looking at the one on Discord, it just went it just went like sideways, that I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna let it roll. People actually deferred for what I was created for, because I wanted to have something that I can help the newbies, like myself at that time. Hey, I don't know how to. What is the best panel liner for blacks? I mean, for whites or for red? Okay, this is what you use. This is what you use. This is how you do it. Okay, thank you.
Well, we have kids that sit around and watch other kids play video games. Why do you think this is so appealing? It's because a kid can go, look, we're gonna do a step-by-step tutorial on this Gundam. Watch what we do, and you're gonna do it out in sections so that it's not rushed, it's not jumping forward. The person can just sit there and watch it, pause, do what they need to do, get back into it. And showing those things is why I think YouTube is so successful when it comes to these and even podcasts. There's so much information, and you get to hopefully pop into a group of people that are open and let's play this game. There's no reason not to enjoy it, and there's so much of it.
Yeah. See, like I told my wife, like I was like, babe, if I was to make my store, she goes, yes, I will have a area in my store where I will have people, especially kids, come in on a Saturday. And let's build together. Let me show you how to build. Come here. Because I remember when I was a kid and we were at I think it was Charleston, South Carolina, when I was growing up. We were living there and all that, and my dad took me to this hobby store. That's where I started doing like model planes and boats and all that. And I was like maybe 5-6 years old, and the guy was like, oh, so you buying stuff for you? And my dad goes like, no, I'm buying stuff for him. And he goes like, the guy looks at me, oh, we got these are especially for kids. And I looked at him, and my dad goes like, no, he wants that metal, that one. He wants that aircraft carrier right there. He goes, you for real? He goes like, oh yeah, like he has one at home that he's building. What? I'm like, I was just sitting there. It's like my first computer. I built it by myself when I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. I wanted to learn computers. My dad was a computer engineer, so he was like, okay, but he worked for the Navy. He was like, you want to learn? Yeah. He brought the box. He brought the instruction manual, and he just dropped it next to me. Poof. And I'm like, He goes like, build it. I'll be right back. So he left.
I'll be right back.
And I'm just like looking at the clocking. I'm like, okay, this goes here. Okay. I finished. When he came back, I was already installing Windows 95, I think it was at that time. And he was like, how the? I'm like, I'm just following instructions. You told me to follow the book, so I'm following the book.
Yeah, I steered away from computers because I saw where it was all going was over, overseas. And I was like, well, I don't feel like, if they can outsource my job to somebody, and then everybody I talked about, anyone I talked in IT, they all said the same thing, that it's like ridiculous hours. It never ends. People are always stupid. And they just become more chain smoking, hating the world, and just like leave me in my cave. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. So I was like, I wanted to learn it so that I could know what the hell I was doing. And I wasn't getting a lot of what I wanted. So I'm like, well, drop this information. And there's so many people out there that what you can, throw at them money wise, they'll be like, yeah, I'll build you a computer, and wham, bam, there you go. I had Dell build me my first computer.
What programs do you want? You want this? Okay. You want Windows Longhorn?
Well, I remember the old.
Oh, we were in Windows 10. No, but I got Windows Longhorn. You want
it? Oh, you want the Office suite? You want Excel? You want PowerPoint? Yeah, let me get you this.
You remember CE, ME, and NT? And if you throw it all together, it spells cement.
I remember working on my A++, and I was like, good Lord. And it's just like, none of that stuff matters now. It's like, you just have a 10-year-old kid come in and, rework the server.
Yeah, dude, I just, I think at this point I can look at my son and be like, here, break daddy's phone. Yep. There you go.
Well, and they've got companies now where I called in about getting my Vizio television repaired, and the guy goes, it was never designed to be repaired. It costs $400. It'll probably last another year. Do you want to do it? And you have to buy the parts off of eBay. And I'm like, never mind. It's okay.
That's why, I told my wife, the next investment I'm going to do for a TV, I'm buying myself a projector.
Yeah, that actually could work in my space too. But
yeah, it's either that or a computer monitor, and I'll be like, how can you watch TV on that? It's the same thing.
I think it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just different. It's just called something different. One's a monitor, one's a TV.
Yeah. Yep. Well, they do work slightly different, but not too much. But nothing that any regular person would understand or care.
Right. It wouldn't be like, oh well, geez, the refresh rate is 2% slower on the diagonals and no problem.
Is that a 75 hertz?
Is it 80 plus, or is it import 1 or import 3? I don't understand.
The only thing they're going to ask nowadays with that is it a 4K? Yes, I take it.
Not even. What's even funniest is it's the dirty little secret of the industry is
you can't even see 4K.
Right? Unless you have an 80-inch TV, you cannot tell the difference between 1080p and 4K.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And really, what we're talking about is, do you know how much the visual difference between a DVD and a Blu-ray is? It's all sound. It's not video. You can get a 1080p video signal on a CD, but you can't fit the sound. And that's the difference with 1080p versus CD, is that they cut all the sound out of the movie. So because sound is 10 times denser than the video signal. And I put in, Blade Runner 2049. My wife bought me the Blu-ray. I dropped it in and cranked up the sound in my living room. And I'm like, I didn't leave the room. I just sat there because the sound is what draws you in. It's what makes it so much better.
Well, and I tell my students all the time, you can have the greatest video in the world. If you got crap audio, it's a crap video.
Yep. Quality just went in the dirt.
Yep. You can have the most spectacular visuals. If you can't hear what they're saying, there's no point.
I never let go, Jack. I never let go.
Huh? What?
What you say?
Hear you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but Yeah, it's funny how all that works. And it's just buzzwords to sell more stuff.
Oh yeah.
I will say the only TV that I would say is really substantially better, at least style-wise, is the OLED TVs. There is a significant difference in the color between that and a regular LED TV. Just because they can get the. Well, it's because the OLEDs, each individual diode can actually go completely dark, whereas a regular LED, it's still backlit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to take a camera, slow-mo guys did this. Get on YouTube, where they took a high-speed camera to different kinds of TVs to see the color difference and stuff like that. And there was a stark difference between the darkness of an OLED TV versus an LED TV, which created a much sharper picture for all the other colors. So there's one TV you do want to splurge on, it's OLED, but you don't have to get an 80. They're all going to be 4K anyways, but
right.
You don't have to get it to be 80 inches.
I was at Costco. I got an OLED LG and a sound system. I got it all laid out to replace my old TV. So I'm like, okay, well, that's, now I know what I'm going to pick up. It's a 65 inch. I'm at a 60 right now. I'm going to go to a 65 and I'll be able to play Battlefield 4 even better.
Wow, man. Like today, I went to Sam's today when my wife do shopping and all that stuff. And the first thing I ran into was an 85-inch Samsung. And I'm like, are you for real?
Yeah.
And she was like, what is it? I'm like, the TV. She goes, what's wrong with it? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with it. My phone will connect instantaneously.
Yeah, I don't know. I worked in TV and working for a company that actually put TV out. I'm so sick. I'm so ADHD when it comes to watching news and channels, because I could never, when I was at a customer's house, I'd get one part of it, one customer's house, go to another customer's house, get a second part of it, or then watch it repeat for the day. So I am so over watching TV. That's why I watch YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's part of it too, because I cut the cable like 6 years ago. I got rid of all normal TV and switched to just Netflix and Hulu. Yeah, I mean, now the landscape's a little bit different because you have HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, so you have a lot more subscriptions.
Paramount Plus sucks.
You see, me, I kind of go with what they call movie box, and I see everything for just for paying my internet bill.
Yep.
That's the way I pay it now.
I gotta have the new stuff. I have to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. No,
dude, I saw
America and the Winter Soldier.
I saw it completely.
I'm only going to go back to Disney once Kathleen Kennedy is no longer CEO. Not going to do it.
Yeah. I understand the role that she plays. She has
the role of running Star Wars directly into the ground.
No. Okay. This is going to be fun. Because the thing about Kathleen Kennedy is that she's always been the businesswoman. Star Wars would not be nearly as successful throughout its entire franchise history if it wasn't for that woman. Because she's got great business sense, but when it comes to creative crap, get her the fuck out of there.
We need Master George Lucas back in power.
No, I like either.
I like there's one of my favorite quotes, and it's from Steven Spielberg, and he goes, "The best thing that Kathleen Kennedy has ever done," or he goes, Kennedy has done, was as a direct assistant to George Lucas, was get coffee and interrupt, and that was from
Steven Spielberg.
You see, and the thing is about Star Wars, and Kathleen Kennedy especially, what they need to start doing is, it's like you knew you were going to make a trilogy. Why didn't you plan out said trilogy? Why'd you have to react so hard to fans? Well, you can't do that kind of stuff and expect everyone to be happy.
Right. And this is the thing about Star Wars that I don't understand under Kennedy's watch was they took Clone Wars and they said, okay, we're ending Clone Wars. It's done. And they've put out more Star Wars content since Kennedy's taken helm. And of that content, it has none of the only thing that's actually stood out has been The Mandalorian. And those numbers are what they wanted for every single thing that they put out that was Star Wars.
Oh yeah, but you got to remember also, Mandalorian is under somebody else's direction, which it's awesome.
Well, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy ultimately has the final say. So
yeah,
but she's doing what she originally should have done: trusted her artists. And first off, having J.J. Abrams was great at first, but I think he never can stick landings. No matter if you look at any series that he has been a part of, he's all about the mystery box. Past that, he does not give a crap. I hate Star Trek Into Darkness. That was the worst movie. It's so lazy.
Wasn't Star Trek Into the Dark the one where Simon, the guy, I think Simon Page or something like that, quit the writer?
No, Simon Pegg wrote the third one.
Right.
This was the second one was written by J.J. Abrams. Was written by Robert Orkai and that crew. But the thing was that all they wanted to do was remake Wrath of Khan. Well, they wanted to remake Space Seed with Wrath of Khan thrown in there. But it's opposite because we're in a separate timeline.
Yeah, the JJ timeline.
Yeah.
Which
was cool. They had a good start because it's like so after the first one, you basically had the Romulans and the Klingons because a Romulan vessel destroyed a Klingon fleet. You had all kinds of like war tension there that the Enterprise could have gone in and fixed and solved because the Klingons would not have believed anyone. But no, what do? You go to Khan. And it's not even like Khan. I love Benedict Cumberbatch, but he is not frigging Khan.
No.
Okay, rant over.
No, I would have Jason Momoa would have made a better Khan.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Dave Bautista would have made a better Khan.
Even better.
No, you know the guy from No Country for Old Men, the assassin, that actor.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. Skyfall, the main villain of Skyfall.
Him.
I know who you're talking about though.
You mean Captain Espinosa?
Yeah.
From the last Captain and the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right, that's the actor. Yeah. Him. What is it? The guy Benicio del Toro. He would have made a good Khan.
Benicio.
But they took
Benicio
a character with a pseudo-Asian name, Ricardo Montalban, which he's Latin American, right? The original Khan.
He's something.
Yeah, he's like Guatemala. I mean, he's like something, right? He's Fantasy Island. That I think that Benicio del Toro could have pulled it off, but they gave it to some English actor, and it just didn't. I mean, I liked that it was Cumberbatch, but I was like, I don't know. It was. I don't know why they went. I don't know why they went that way.
You see, me, I liked it. Like, I'm not gonna. I won't say I love the new Star Wars movies. Because like,
don't want to get me going.
It was
like Last Jedi.
Like, well, I liked it. The only thing I did not like was the whole fact that they switched from the Star Wars. They turned it from the novels. They turned the novels into legends, which you're gonna tell me that you're gonna bring Kylo Ren, which in the movie his original name was Ben Solo, which it was not supposed to be Ben Solo, because Ben, the only one that has a son named Ben, it's Luke Skywalker, which is Ben Skywalker. Then you have Jason Solo, Anakin Solo, and Jada.
Right.
which are the twins,
right? Which are from the Corellian series, right?
Yeah, and then you have Jason, which was the last one. Which they all ended up, becoming evil. But hey,
except no, Jaden didn't. Jaden was the one. The thing I disliked about the Revelation story was that it missed the point of what Star Wars is supposed to be, which is all about redemption. So you have the 7-book series, and she ends up killing her brother instead of trying to save her. It just seemed like, oh, that's lazy.
Yeah. She kills Jason?
Yeah, she kills Jason at the end because he becomes Darth Cadus and tries to destroy the world using old Yuzhan Vong technology or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing I didn't like, it was that they kill Han, and the one that was supposed to die was Chewie.
Yeah.
See, I like, I didn't necessarily have a problem with them switching the expanded universe to Legends, just because there's so much there, and there's no one that can ever. Headcanon is all about you. You can have whatever headcanon you want. But I don't, because I spent a lot of time reading Legends. I have all kinds of books. And it doesn't, but to move forward and be able to do sequels, you had to do something. You couldn't just acknowledge something in books, because hardly anybody reads books anymore. So you can't expect an entire audience to be able to piggyback on that.
Yeah, they follow the novels.
What's a book?
Hey, come on, Keith. It's something, it's something that grows on trees and you write on it.
Oh, it has a really nice smell to it too.
It's what those crazy those crazy Gen Xers talked about all the time,
Oh yeah.
If you had paper cuts and stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The ones that were inspired by Bane because you're supposed to break the spine.
That is so horrible.
I love
it. For me, it was kind of like, okay, but then at the end of the Last Jedi, I loved it, but they could have just gave Kylo that redemption he needed to continue the Force and the lineage. Because remember, he wouldn't be the last Skywalker. He would have been Solo and continue.
Well, I like that the Favreau-verse, which they're saying that the Last Jedi is going to be a parallel universe, so they're going to do a J.J. Abrams thing, because supposedly Ahsoka was killed in the Clone of the War, so they thought that Ahsoka was dead, and then she shows up and she's not dead, and there's a whole these other things with Grogu, and that if Grogu was actually captured by the Empire, then he would have gone to the First Order, and that's what Snoke is from Grogu, and that was kind of the separation timeline. So I'm until they get some content for the Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett or
the 13 other Star Wars series that they're doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure anymore.
Disney does not learn their friggin' lessons.
Yeah, they're going to do Kenobi.
Better be a one-off series. I do not want multiple seasons of that. I want a mini series. That's it. How many stories of an old man in the desert can you tell?
Hey, right. All you're going to see is like, hello there.
Right.
Seriously.
I mean,
and the other thing you're going to hear from the other corner, I hate you.
I hate you. And it's going to be, and then somebody asked Ewan McGregor, well, are you interested in doing this role? And he's like, fuck yeah. Give me the money.
You make money, and now that I love that man. I have a man.
Oh, he's got a wife and 2 kids to support now since he got divorced.
Yeah.
Well, still, I want to see him in more stuff, and if he can make one more appearance as Obi-Wan, that's not under the veil of Lucas, and I even argue Hayden Christensen is a good actor. George Lucas is a shit director.
All right, you got to remember. You just got to remember, Jason. Star Wars wasn't supposed to be the way the Star Wars it has been. Like with it was like Darth Vader was a different guy. Luke was supposed to be female.
Right.
Han was supposed to be an alien.
Not only that, their last name originally was going to be Starkiller.
Right, Starkiller.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's another part of all of this is that you got to remember who Star Wars was made for. The first Star Wars movie was made for George Lucas. He made it for himself. This is his passion project. The second one was like, oh my God, we can make a shit ton of money at this. The third one was for his kids.
Yeah.
Then the Phantom Menace was for his kids.
Yeah.
And all of that. Everything part of that was always about his kids.
Yeah. Especially
AT-ST,
the part,
AT-ATs, right? That was from the Marine dockyards in San Francisco on the carriages for unloading ships, and his kid goes, hey, that would be cool, and that's where they came up with that.
Yeah, that big crane.
Yeah. So I mean, Jar Jar Binks is his kids. Ewoks is with his kids. And I look at that and I go, okay, the dad did he gave what he wanted for his kids, plain and simple. And if you don't like it, too bad you didn't like it. It wasn't made for you. It was made for somebody else. Yep. And if you get to enjoy it, awesome.
Yeah, you see, for me, I love the part where, it took us a couple years to figure it out, but the part where in The Empire Strikes Back, Luke, I am your father. It was like so like to see where Lucas decided to put, okay, this is something that happened between me and my dad and us. And I'm like, really, then you got to bring family issues to a movie. Jesus.
Yeah.
But when I say George Lucas is a craft director, I mean that in the sense of actually working with actors and talking to them and giving them direction. He's basically, well, I just wrote it down on the page, so you should just read what's on the page.
Right.
Whereas the other directors that, Steven Spielberg was supposed to friggin' direct Return of the Jedi.
Right.
But then he got, because it was a non-union job, he had to bow out. And,
which is stupid. I mean, come on.
Your best friend.
Let's see him do it now, right? Let's see him. Let us see them do that now. And how much crap that George Lucas had to take to get the crawl for Star Wars in his first movie, because the American Film Corporation, whatever, said no, you can't do it that way. And he goes, fine, we're not part of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, which I admit that's kind of crap. That's stupid. Yeah. It's art. Well, let the art happen. Don't put those kind of rules. And I do as being in video and have made a film before, it's nice to have your credits up there. But when there's something as big as this and an idea like this, especially such a passion project where it's really just one person doing everything.
Right.
He's as smart as businessman. I mean, the guy's a billionaire, and he was not a billionaire when he started.
Nope.
So, he did.
He wanted to race cars. That's what he wanted to do.
Yep.
He wanted to
look at American Graffiti. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I love that movie, by the way.
That's why, like, when I saw, Disney is buying Star Wars, I'm like, what? Then I heard him say, "Oh no, I sold the Lucasfilm for $400 billion." I'm like, my man.
I mean, he already had the billions before that.
Yeah,
he sold it out of spite.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
even he regretted it afterwards too.
Yeah,
was
that he saw the way it went.
I wish that Disney wouldn't have bought it, but then I go, I really want to go to Star Wars land.
And not only that, it's like we are getting more Star Wars, and I think that if they can write the ship, if they can do what they're planning on doing,
right?
Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Taika Waititi, just give them the keys, let them do whatever they want. These guys started the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
Give them the keys, let them do their thing. It's gonna be good.
What is, if you're gonna put one Thor movie on, which movie are you gonna put on?
Ragnarok. Although
right. I mean, who would I the soundtrack, everything about that movie is like
soundtrack.
I love the soundtrack on that. You know, what's really crazy is that you guys know the TV show with it's called My Name Is Earl.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My wife started rewatching it about a month ago, and the freaking soundtrack on that show is a whole nother character. It's I love it because it's that Gen X rhythm music. It's just like, and they hit every one of those things just right. And whoever was doing the sound work on that show, I was just loving it. And we'll sit in bed and she'll watch a couple episodes of it, and I'll walk in. I'm like, I wanted to watch that one with you. You know, you can watch Mary Tyler Moore all you want. The Golden Girls, she's on to them now. Oh God, I've been watching the fucking Golden Girls here for the last month, and I'm like, how many more episodes are left? Please, let's get through it. And then I'm looking up how many of those bitches are still alive. Only Betty White. She's a fucking trooper.
Seriously.
Hey, you just got to remember, it's like Betty White. It's just like Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
They won't die.
Not as much crap going on.
You know.
So hey, what did you think of the glass files that came with the kit?
Awesome. I loved it. You know, they were good. First I was like, okay, now I use them, and how the hell do I clean them? And I'm like,
you just
water.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, man. They're boom.
Yeah, so here's a tip: if glass files make things too shiny, if you use a magic eraser, where it's just dry, and go over it, it'll give it the same texture that it had to begin with.
That duck egg shell matte kind of look to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Thank you.
No, yeah, those. I'm gonna try to get. Well, I ordered up a whole nother batch of the glass files. So that's. I don't know if you guys understood what this is. It comes with the nippers, with the knife, and 2 glass files, and ports for sanding sponges, and that's all for $24. That's all comes in one kit.
That's nice.
I mean, you can pay $10 for a knockoff pair of nippers, or just get a pair of whatever. And then I also all the knives are all anodized aluminum, so each one is a different. I have blue, purple, green, gold.
That's awesome.
And when I sell those, I only make them. I only make certain colors in certain batches, and then that way I can mail them out the next day. So if somebody placed an order for that without anything else, it's in the mail the next day.
Yeah.
So 3 days, almost as good as Amazon, but it's all good. It's all good.
You know, unless your name starts with Maverik and with Wolf.
Someday I can get adopted. I'll be Maverik Wolfe Jr. Yeah, just don't mail anything to his address with the name Maverik Wolfe.
Yeah,
dude.
They'll bounce it back.
Yeah, the post office sent it back, and I'm like, I wonder why. And so I'm asking the questions, and I called the last day when I called the post office. They told me, oh, our mailman went over there and couldn't find the mailbox, and I'm like, okay.
Found my mailbox.
I was like, so there isn't a mailbox for my address. This is my address. They goes, yes. And the box package said my address on it, right? Yes. So why didn't he put it in my address? He was like, I don't know. I'm like, good. Retraining.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah. Hey, you win some, you lose some. It was going for a good purpose. Put my product in your hands so you can see how crappy or good it was. And the only reason that my company works the way it does is because I get feedback from people who use my product. If my product is not of value and it doesn't serve a purpose, then we'll have a buyback program once we get out of debt. And you can rehome your Gunpla Caddy system that doesn't work. But if I find any tool marks inside of it, nope, you get percentage off,
Yeah. No, but but I really appreciate it. I love
Oh
it
yeah.
since that, when the day you guys were doing that giveaway, I was like, okay. So my phone started becoming stupid right when the wheel was spinning, so I couldn't see what was what. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm just gonna go out. I can't see nothing, so if anybody can text me or whatever, Maverik Wolfe, congratulations. And I'm like, what? He goes, you got the big one. I'm like, what big one? And one of the guys goes like, well, you got this in from Caddy. And I'm like, they want to know if, yes, I do. I'm like, hell yeah, give it over. But it was good.
That's I like it when I can do a giveaway, and it it's fun when I have somebody who is okay with showing and doing and putting it available for them to show to other people, because I can't pay for that. That's, I mean, soon you will on TikTok. You'll be able to pay to promote.
Yeah, I saw that.
We'll see how bad it does.
Where you can pay to push your video to specific people, or yeah.
That's the best thing that I like. It's all like, you got the nippers, you got the name right there, and the best thing of all, you got his initials right about
one of the good ones, or the ones that I screwed up?
I think well, you can't see it, but
it's faint. Yeah, so yeah, that was you got a rev on that one. I discovered that because I don't look at I actually had a guy go, yeah, can you take the WJW off? That's not my initials. I go, it stays on and it's my maker's mark. He goes, well, what is that? I go, it's my name. Oh, well, do I have to have it on there? And I'm like, well, if you don't want it, I'm going to have to make a special color for you.
Well, you just tell them straight up. If you don't want it there, guess what? Use the sander and sand it down.
Yeah, well, that's I can actually put my entire initial on every single bottom of every single one of my things. Maybe I should start doing that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was on the bottom down here, like
it's adhesion on the bottoms always piss me off. That's the thing that dies on those. So you see the compound curve on the backside. It's really weird having somebody hold something that I made. I'm not used to that. That curve, I actually rounded that because for some reason the back end would not attach in print. So I had to get the right angle, and then I corrected that. That's like a Rev 4. And there's quite a few of them out there that have the old style. And then I had somebody want me to make instruction stands to hold the paper instructions.
Idea too.
That is a good idea.
I'm thinking if I can design something with it's a good framework that's not easy to crush, and something using magnets where you have little tabs and magnets and they snap to hold the paper in position. Mm-hmm. And so the paper kind of just floats, and then you have like an armature that comes up that can have a whole bunch of cool hexagons on it with a nice little round base, and then little magnets, and you just clip it up like that and it's done. So I think something in that vein, I'm gonna have to actually sit down and CAD it. So maybe when I have
or even as like an add-on for the screw spot where it like connects right there.
Yeah, it would have to be tall. To be able to get the height for the paper. So maybe it could be something like I did. I could actually modify the Action Gunpla Caddy. Have you seen the one where it's got the actual action armature from the stands? Mm-hmm. You can plug it right into the Caddy on the top. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one for that you made for the minister, the Gunpla minister?
Yeah, that one. Nice. And I could actually make an extension off of that could hold the paperwork above it. But I'd have to look at the size of the books and get an average size of the books and be able to, I could do that. That's actually fun.
Okay, gentlemen.
There you go.
Nice job.
There you go, guys.
What you got going over there, Keith?
So I am still working on the SD Sengoku God. This is where I'm at so far. I've only done a few of the stickers. I did the eyes, I did this symbol here, and then the sides on the head. But otherwise, I'm doing everything else with different markers and stuff. I'm almost done with it. My favorite part is the swords. So, oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Yeah, so
it actually has a sheath.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it clicks in too.
So it's not all
That's
rattling.
cool.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me,
I got
guys,
a toothpick with my SD.
yeah. So for me, it's the Burning Gundam, the high grade, which I love it because all these orange things are the effects. It comes with so many, and it's so awesome.
That's cool.
So I just started it. It's gonna take me a bit to finish it. I got the SD version of it somewhere in my shelf over there. And it's all good.
All right. William left.
But yeah.
I think I mentioned it earlier, but yeah, I'm working on the MG. I'm trying to finish my G Gundam collection. I just need the Spiegel. So.
But yeah, guys, it was, it's been a pleasure to share the grounds of battle with you guys for tonight's podcast.
Yeah.
Likewise. I enjoy you guys. I hope you know that.
Yeah, it's good to be midnight for me and Maverik, and Dixie is telling me we need to go to bed. So
no problem. Hey,
we want you back onto the show, though. We want you to be a comment.
Maybe I can. Well, I'm gonna pick your guys' some brains on some things, and I'm gonna start designing a way of making one of the caddies with the instruction holder on the caddy.
That's cool. I can't wait to see it. And I'll be in contact with you for the runner rack.
Somebody give him my number. Anytime that you want anything, anybody right now, if you guys want something, contact me directly. You don't have to deal with the Etsy price. If you order more than $35, I pick up the shipping. And if you need something customized, just let me know, and I will give you the introducry price, not the Etsy price. So
So really quick, why don't we what direct website can just everyday public people go to see your products and stuff?
It's Etsy account.
It's my Etsy. I don't have a website built yet for. And I'm gonna go tomorrow on my vacation, and I'm going to create a new Gmail account and make that so that people can contact me directly for there. But yeah, anytime if you got a question, concern, anything, just text me. And if you want to talk to me, just text me first to make sure I'm available, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Because I love the Gunpla group. I was really resident to go into the Facebook builders because they're real pinchy about certain things, and there's so many clubs, and I'm just like, and then I'm on Gunpla, and everybody's like, it's none of that bullshit that just takes the love of it out of it, and it doesn't. There's not a single kit I've seen that anybody shows that I'm thinking, oh, that's a piece of crap, because you're doing one better than me, because you're building something right now, and that's to me, that's what's important, is that you're building something, you're learning, and then I find this group of people that are not gatekeeping and burning down people because they didn't like their paint style or whatever, and I'm like, I didn't know there was a paint style. I thought it was just you having fun.
Yep. So, that is true.
No, I feel like that a lot of the Facebook groups, they forgot about the whole Gunpla is freedom thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, I love watching the guys in Japan who are paid by Bandai. They make a book on what they build and they paint it. And I'm just like, it is plastic super robot origami, and it's amazing.
Plastic super robot art. I love that. I love that.
So really quick, I do want to talk about something, but I want to close out like the official closeout. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Marcos, and definitely thank you to our special guest William for coming on and talking about Gunpla Caddy and all the other stuff
and all the crap that we didn't.
Right. All right. And thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. All right. So like what? I don't try to keep on talking about this, but my fiance passed away due to cancer about it's been two years and a few months. And I was just looking for I love building computers, but computer building is expensive. So I couldn't really keep on doing that. I'm like, oh, I remember the Gundam model kits. So I started getting back into Gundam after not watching it for a few years. And then when I was just looking for something to deal with, my therapist suggested that I find a new hobby, something that's not exactly video games. Not that video games are necessarily bad, I just wasn't able to find anything that really took that edge off. And I got a real grade RX-78, and I built it like a piece of shit. It's not a piece of shit kit itself. It's one that you definitely need care to build, because if you don't carefully build it, it will be a hand grenade. But mine was a hand grenade. You looked at it and it fell apart. But it was just, I started getting into it on YouTube and everything else, and then just, here I am 75 kits later. This is November 2019, so it's been almost 2 years that I've been building. And I mean, this has just been the best thing. Between this and between the actual building and the community, it's won me over so much. And I've met some great friends here because of it.
Yeah. I have made more friends in the year of COVID than I have since I stopped at high school, and it's insane to me how many people now I talk to on a fairly regular basis that is always like, hey, how have you been? And it's like we catch up like we're old buddies, and it's just like TikTok and Gunpla and all of that has just been insane.
So
and
for me, almost like Will, but like Jason, this kit, it's my project for July. I'm starting this in, because the thing is, I'm starting this as a memorial. My mother passed away 2 years ago, and she always loved Angel Wing Zero, so I'm gonna make it for Mom. So this is gonna be like, that's why I haven't. I opened it just to see how it was, how many runners, and I'm like, fuck. But it's the one that she loved, so I'm gonna do the Angel Wing.
Hell, I get nervous when I open a freaking SD. I'm like, oh
man. When I opened up my perfect grade GP01, I was very intimidated. I mean, first off, I had to sign for the box, which I've never had to sign for any Gunpla stuff. But because this thing was so huge and the order was so big, because it was about a $400 order once I factored in everything, and it is just the most intimidating thing. I got the box right over here.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys go.
All right.
I got Wolfie to put to bed before he wakes up again.
I got to take the dog, our big dog, to the to weekend camp, doggy camp, where we go on vacation. Box. Oh my God. You can keep a cat in that or a dog.
Catch you guys later.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You too.